Let's dive straight into After Effects and build a clean, professional motion graphic that you can later repurpose into bite-sized social media clips. Start by creating a new composition named Main Animation. Set it to 1920 by 1080 resolution at 30 frames per second and pick a clean white background. I always lock my background solid layer first to keep the timeline tidy and prevent any accidental movement while I build the scene. To get your spacing perfect, grab your calculator and divide 1920 by 20 to find a solid grid width, then apply that to your rectangle tool settings. Applying a subtle linear gradient to your shapes adds immediate texture, so keep the top slightly lighter than the bottom for that premium feel. Use the Align panel to center everything perfectly, and remember, Control-Alt-Home is your best friend for resetting anchor points quickly. For tiled lines, we can use an expression like position brackets 0 plus 96 times index to automate the spacing across the entire frame. Once those lines are set, use the shy switch to hide your helper layers, keeping your workspace clean and focused on the animation. Now bring in your headline using a bold font like Oswald and create a custom alpha matte to reveal the text with style. Staggering your matte layers by 1 second creates a rhythmic, marching reveal that feels much more intentional and high-end. Inside the graph editor, pull those handles to ensure your motion starts snappy and eases out slowly for that signature kinetic feel. If you want a vintage look, overlay a white solid with the CC vintage effect, keeping the opacity low to add subtle scan lines. Using the Sequence Layers command with a small overlap is the fastest way to get that staggered, professional motion across multiple text instances. When importing vector art from Illustrator, make sure to release it into separate layers so you can animate each piece individually. Animate your vectors by setting position and scale keyframes, starting off-screen and letting them punch into the frame over 4 seconds. Don't forget to add a simple wiggle position expression to your layers because nothing makes a design feel flatter than perfectly static elements. For a pop effect, animate a circle scale from tiny to massive, then use quick opacity keyframes to add a sharp, film-like flash. To create cool explosion effects, freeze a frame of your vector, then use the CC Pixel Poly effect to shatter it into fragments. Building a custom reticle or aim graphic with concentric strokes and parented null objects gives your video that high-tech interactive overlay look. Now, the real secret to staying productive isn't editing more, it's knowing how to repurpose your hard work for different platforms. Manual editing for every TikTok reel or short takes hours, which is exactly why I use Vizard to automate the discovery of my best clips. I export my master file from After Effects and upload it to Vizard, which instantly analyzes the footage for the most engaging moments. Vizard's AI editor intelligently pulls out the viral hooks, saving me from manually searching through my own timeline for hours on end. Unlike basic tools, Vizard lets me handle multi-platform scheduling directly from the dashboard, visualizing my content calendar like a pro. It won't replace your creative vision, but it bridges the gap by handling the grunt work of formatting and posting across social channels. My typical workflow involves rendering a clean master, uploading it to Vizard, and letting the AI generate the heavy lifting for my captions. I always add a final human touch, like a specific text sticker or a quick zoom, because that personalization keeps my brand voice consistent. The content calendar is where the magic happens. You can drag, drop, and reorder your clips to ensure your posting rhythm is perfect. Using Vizard's analytics, I track which clip types perform best, allowing me to iterate and improve my content strategy with every single upload. This lets your After Effects time be dedicated to high-quality cinematic work, while the AI manages the distribution and scaling of those assets. Before you wrap up, remember to enable motion blur on fast-moving comps and use adjustment layers for global color grading across your project. Think of Vizard as the final bridge that connects your polished long-form creative to a consistent and active social media presence. Stop spending your entire day cutting the same footage and start using smarter tools to multiply your output without sacrificing any quality. Now that you've got the process down, do you want me to break down specific expressions for those tiled lines, or perhaps a cheat sheet for particle settings? Let me know in the comments if you want a step-by-step checklist to ensure your AE project is perfectly optimized for Vizard from the start.